everyone, my name is Justin.
I'm Corey, and we did our practicum at the Bowling Green Community Center just this semester.
So our supervisor for this practicum, his name was Chatfield, and basically he's in charge of, he's a fitness manager at the Bowling Green Community Center, and he also works with the city pool to help manage the finances for the pool as well. Like I said, we worked with the community center, and basically he had us working with trying to come up with a new pricing scheme for the fitness classes. So basically we go from charging a certain price per class to offering seasonal passes such as quarterly, monthly, and yearly passes. And then we work with the city pool, and basically they gave us a spreadsheet that had the expenditure and revenue numbers for the past 11 years, and we kind of analyzed those numbers to try and see where they could maybe improve or change things to help maintain a profit and help the pool running. And we started this practicum over winter break. We worked on the fitness classes and pricing with that, and then we finished over spring break and worked with the city pool and those numbers.
Alright, so here's a picture of the Bowling Green Community Center. I've never been there before this, but it's really big and nice, and you didn't even know it was there, but it's gigantic.
Kind of like a YMCA type place.
Yeah, it's cool. But we have grass, so. Alright. We work with Microsoft Excel to make charts and tables to help with the budgeting and pricing of fitness classes at their recreational center. We made a table in which Josh, who was our supervisor, could input numbers of passes sold to find profit rates depending on how many teachers they had to hire, like instructors they had to hire for the classes. And here's just an example of one of the tables we made. So on the left, you would input the number of passes sold. So we kind of simplified down the numbers for this presentation. So you could input the number of passes sold, prices of passes per month, and then you could figure out the per month, per quarter, per year, and then the total profit based on a rough estimate of what they spent in the past on instructors. So you could change any which number to figure out how much total profit. And he gave us a couple different target profits for what would be breaking even, and then what they wanted to make it worth their time to have the fitness classes.
So then with the city pool, like I alluded to earlier, he gave us a spreadsheet of the expenditures and revenue sources and like their marginal profit for the past 11 years. And I think it started in 1993, I believe, and for about the first, maybe 7 years or so, they lost a lot of money before they made changes and got more people coming into the pool. So basically, we wanted to look at comparing the years where they lost money and the years that they made money or a profit, and then kind of compare the sources of revenue and expenditures to see different trends or patterns that indicated what caused the differences in profit and loss amongst those years. So here's just an example of two of the years on the spreadsheet for the revenue and expenditures. So on the left is one of the years where they made a profit, and then on the right is one of the years where they ended up losing money. So I'd just like you to take a look real quick and see if there's anything you notice with these numbers or any patterns you see between those two by comparing them. Just let me know. You see anything? Question.
Well, what's the extras for the 5,000 of utilities for the
We're not really sure.
Estimate.
Other people doesn't have an answer.
That's a good question. That's how it was on the spreadsheet, and there was like Josh gave us the spreadsheet, and there was certain things on there that even he wasn't sure about. So.
Good question, though. Attention to detail.
What exactly defines personal under the expenditures?
Personnel. It's like lifeguards, people who come in and trade. So the money they spend on people who come in and work.
looks like they had more people coming in 2008, but they had less season passes, which is a little strange.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of what we noticed with this, like some of the pricing numbers didn't match up, like, because they offered daily passes and then seasonal passes, so like with the seasonal passes, it seemed like they were losing money kind of in that way because they give the people like a really good deal on it. So like for an adult, it'd be $100 for a seasonal pass, but if you have a family of 6, then it's only $145. So there's a lot of difference that may have accounted for that loss in money. And then another thing we kind of noticed with those is the differences in personnel. So they, in the years that they lost money, they seem to spend a little more on personnel in those years. So some of the possible solutions we came up with would be eliminating the concessions, because that was one of the sources of both revenue and expenditures. And instead of hiring personnel to work at the concession stands, we suggested maybe switching to vending machines, so that they'd still offer that service but spend a little less money on the personnel. And then also, kind of like I said earlier, with the pricing of the family passes, we suggested maybe like going with a base fee, and then for each additional person within that family, like charging a certain rate per person. So that way, they're still getting a good deal with these passes, but it makes it a little bit less of a problem with pricing or making money per person that uses the pool and being able to keep the pool open for people to enjoy.
I'm just gonna go back real quick. One of the things that I found interesting about the pool, if you can tell from 2007 to 2008, the cost in personnel went way up. And we asked, it was all over the board, the prices and personnel were all over the place, and we asked them why. Certain years it required extra training at the beginning of summer if some rules change, but also in years where it rains a lot, so like rainy summer seasons, they make a lot more money because when it rains, the pool closes and they don't have to pay anybody to come in. But the seasonal passes, you still have to pay for them. So when it rains, they actually end up making a lot more money than if the pool was always open, which is weird. So next we have our activity, which is a little piece of paper in front of you. You guys can work together to answer the questions. So yeah.
I mean, questions.
Yeah, if you have any questions. Jesse?
$10.
For
About $50.
50
I'm
pieces.
sure.
Yeah.
50 shirts.
Can you explain how you got that a little bit?
Yeah. I mean, it was 50 times a variable minus 50 times 8 equals 100.
That's exactly it. And then you can change to 75 and 100 for the instead of 50. So that's kind of what we did with our first project with the seasonal and daily passes and monthly passes. So yeah, good job everybody. What we learned, you want to go first?
Alright, so some of the stuff I learned was, first of all, the importance of having like adequate information with fitness classes. We kind of asked Josh if there was any way we could get an approximate number of how many people per year use or takes the fitness classes, so we could kind of gauge what pricing scheme we would want to use, like charging how many or how much money per pass in order to make a profit. So like not having that information made it kind of hard to like dictate or say you need to charge this much per pass in order to make money. And also working with numbers and data from a business standpoint, it's kind of more of like an applicable way of mathematics and looking at numbers and making business decisions rather than just coming up with some answer. And then also critical thinking and analysis in the workplace. It's kind of, to me, it seems kind of similar to the way you look at mathematics. Like you look at the information given to you, and then you try and figure out what the problem is or what you're trying to figure out, and then find a way to address that problem, which is something that I felt was comparable in this practicum and also in regular mathematics you'd see in a classroom.
Alright. I learned the importance of communication in a business setting. If you get out of communication, then there could be, a little bit of a wall between like winter break and spring break where you don't know what you're doing. Excel has many different functions that are that's applicable to a lot of different businesses and business practices. And to be sure to ask questions instead of trying to figure out everything on your own, it's good practice, just go to your supervisor and see if he knows what's going on, he or she. And that's what we learned. Thank you.
Anyone has?
How long is the pool open or is like the annual pass? Or is it just like the summer season?
Yeah, it's just a summer season, so some years they are probably able to open it earlier. This year they probably won't be able to because it was snowing yesterday.
Yeah, so like with the fitness classes, they wanted to like offer annual passes, but then obviously with the pool, with it like being in like the summer months, it'd be a seasonal, I guess.
Did they say whether they're gonna actually like implement the stuff you guys suggested?
So we just finished over spring break. We haven't had a chance to sit down with